swear it was. Way back here in this woods, sitting outside of this shed. Oh, found a hole. The block is sitting right there. This is the last tote of parts. But I'm in the middle of nowhere. So this is supposedly the car the engine came out of. But look at that tree growing out of it. It is a 5-lug. But one thing is the VIN here doesn't match the block. 6T07C190313. So isn't a the C, that's a regular 2-barrel V8 289. But I'm wondering, he said it has a 9-inch under it. So I'm wondering, I can't get the door open to actually look at the tag if someone clipped the tag or something. But there's a Corvette under there. So I got more parts for the truck and the K code and the sausage pony. All 3 vehicles I went and acquired parts for, and I have in the bed of my truck. So I'm gonna flip the camera out and show you what I got. The first thing that's impressive is, I know it's got rust, but this is a Ford top loader 4-speed. And it is, from what I believe, the original transmission out of this car here. So it's that car's original 4-speed, and we're gonna stick it in this car behind the 289 we got. So I need to get a new top cover, but I got this and it has everything. The the flywheel down there, bell housing, so an aluminum bell housing, this divider plate, even came with a clutch, shifter. This is full of all the bolts, and you can see all the linkage and everything is still on it. So I looked down in there and everything looks good. I'm gonna clean it, but that cover, so on eBay it's like $85, but then there's a guy who, it says like David's 4-speed, I think it is, or something like that, I don't know. Well, he has a top plate cover for $19.99. Wow, that's great. All right, so I went to buy it. It has I think it was $37 shipping, almost $40. So in the end, it would have been around $60 to get that $20 cover off their website. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. So anyway, I'm gonna unload this, and then we're gonna get to the next thing that's in here. Okay, so this flywheel is what came with the transmission when I bought it. And I was there, and I got this from the junkyard, and I said, oh, you wouldn't happen to have another flywheel, would you? From a 289, because I need a 28-ounce balance. 302s later became 50-ounce balance. And he goes, oh, I might. So we looked at the number C30E, and I think anything that is like C7 or below is for 289. Well, anyway, we found this one in like a 1960 school bus. There was a school bus there, full of parts, and this was laying there. It says 302 Ford, but this number, C30E, so it should be a 28-ounce balance. And he ended up just throwing that in for free. So now I have 2 28-ounce flywheels, and this one here is going to be for a 289 that I'm building, or going to rebuild and put the 3-speed behind. So I'll have a drivetrain set up. But okay, I'm gonna get these flywheels, the shifter, and this peanut can full of bolts out, and get to the next thing right there. Okay, so this next one, I don't know, man. I hope I didn't get bamboozled. I'm questioning the authenticity of this but I'm gonna flip the camera around and just show you. So on Facebook was a picture, it was a really horrible picture, but it was of a bunch of junk sitting around. It said Mustang parts, and then I read it and it said miscellaneous Mustang parts and high performance 289 engine. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll text. And I asked about it, and the lady said, I said, oh, does the engine have a VIN on it? And she said, yes. So I said, okay, can you send me a picture of the VIN? So then she sends me this, a picture of this, and it was also really fuzzy. So I was like, oh man. I go, yeah, that's a regular 289. So I was like, real high performance ones were all stamped with actual VIN numbers down there. And she goes, well, let me ask my husband. And then she sent me a message saying that he got cancer now, and he just hasn't been right the same. So then she sent me a really blurry picture where she had taken like a toothbrush or something, cleaned this. But it is like the worst stamping I've seen. It's all messed up. But so it was 3.5 hours away. Jeez, I'm dropping it. So I drove there and I bought it. It was $120. So I figured if it's a K-code engine, it's worth it. And I get there and I start asking the guy, and he had a hole in his throat and was talking through a thing. So it was very difficult to understand. And the wife, she didn't know anything about it. Well, the story was that this engine, he said it was out of his dad's car, and he said that it was a special Mustang with a factory 4-speed and high performance 289, and he was telling me how special this car was and how cool it was and everything like that, blah blah blah. Well, then I go, well, where's the car? And so I'm just asking stuff. Well, we just started talking, and I thought later, I went and looked at a car. I'll put the video in there. I actually went and looked because he said there was a car. I thought that was the car, but like I said, it was so hard to hear. So I went and I looked at it, and I'm in Louisiana, 3.5 hours from home, and this car was in the middle of the woods, and it was across town. Well, we went and looked at it, and this guy, is so hard to understand him, and I'm in the middle of the woods. This guy shows up who owns the property the car is on, and we're talking, and they start talking about their friend that is in jail now for first degree, and I'm like, what? Later we leave. I looked at the car. It was a C-code car, pony interior. I actually got the seats out of it. They're sitting here. I got them. I think they're junk, but they were free. So I was like, all right. Anyway, so get in the car, and the guy goes, yeah, that guy's a drug dealer, big-time drug dealer. I was like, so, yeah. Well, anyway, so I go, well, that was a C-code car. I go, that couldn't have been the engine that was out. And then he says, no, that was a different car. So that was my bad. Like I said, it was hard to tell. So then I started asking him, I go, well, where are the parts, the other parts? I said, this car would have had different cylinder heads, intake, even the pistons were different, blah, blah. And he said that people came and they stole almost everything that a human could carry. And obviously one man can't just pick up an engine block and walk with it, but every part was stolen. He said that the distributor and everything, he had the box. I asked about it. He said it should have been one without a vacuum thing on the front. He said, yep. And he just said every single part of this engine got stolen except the block. So it is questionable because anyone could just stamp a block. But if it is true, it would make sense. I met another guy who I was buying parts from, and he has a K-code engine. He said if people knew its location, they would be jumping his fence to steal it. So I was like, geez, what's with these car parts? But so anyway, I bought it for $120. So it looks like it says 6F0 and it looks like another 0, which is impossible. It's either a 7, 8, or 9. 6F, 0, 7, 8, or 9, and then it'd be K. So it almost looks like maybe it could be 6F08, which I believe is a fastback. 7 is a coupe, I think. 8 fastback, and maybe 9 convertible. Something like that. But I have it. I'm going to unload it and get to the next box. Yeah, I just ran the tap down 2 of them, but look at these. They're just, I just put that in there too, but look at, they're packed full of dirt. This engine was sitting outside. I'm gonna run it down those other 2 and get it on a stand. All right, let's see if I can do this alone. Shouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna find something to put in now. Really short screwdriver that'll fall out. Okay. Lamp made it look easy. Okay, now this is the bag of And now, the final part. I bought this like a month ago. Bought it as like an early Christmas present for myself, I think. Or was it in November? I don't know. Anyway, all the way from Australia. Here it is. Actually, from Australia, then to Florida, then to Canada, and then back to Florida. But here it is. All right. This is a intake manifold. Came with a bunch of other stuff too. Here's some more parts there for it, but it is a Boss 260 intake manifold. There was a Boss 260 and a Boss 290, and you can see that this has been cut and welded for this dual flange, which I think I gotta look at it a little more. I almost think that this is on back. This plate is on backwards, I think. But anyway, this intake manifold is the closest resemblance to a 2000 Mustang Cobra R intake manifold. These were found on Australian Ford Falcons. So you might be thinking, what are you talking about? In Australia, Ford, still to, I don't know to this day, but they were in the 2000s and the 90s, the Ford Falcon still existed. But it was like a sedan, and I think even a Ute maybe, I don't know. But I know that the sedan exists. Well, in some models, I don't know the exact models of them, like an XB8 or something like that, I don't know. They came with 5.4 liter 32 valves, which only 4 cars in North America came with those. The first one that got it was a Lincoln Navigator. Second was the Cobra R, and then the Ford GT and a Shelby GT 500. So those are the only 4 vehicles that ever came with this engine. The Navigator's intake manifold is only for a truck. It does not fit under hood of anything else. You can look up videos like guys cut the hoods and to make them fit, and you can get adapter plates now to run Coyote intake manifolds on 5.4 32 valves, which is much cheaper than this. So these intakes are outrageous, and I mean outrageous. I got this one at a screaming good deal, so I won't say how much just in case I decide to sell it. But this is going on the F100, and I'm going to say this loosely because I don't have the vehicle yet, but there is a car that I have been designing and thinking of parts for that this would work better for, because the F100 could actually use a truck intake. But I will show you this real quick. This intake is so awesome, and normally they have a single blade plenum, and I just pulled it out, the dual blade throttle body plenum. They're the same thing. All this stuff's right there, and the hardware. So there it is. We are going to put it on our engine, which, by the way, the weirdest thing. So we had a storm, and I came out. Look at the stuff that's all over the engine. This engine was so ridiculously clean, and now it has this white, chalky residue all over it, and the transmission does as well. So that is very strange to me that just appeared. It almost looks like sand. I have no clue, but that engine was mint, man. It was super. It still is. I just gotta wipe it off. But that just like happened one day. I came out here and I was like, someone threw cocaine all over my engine or something. So yeah, it's all over the alternator too. Like it is bizarre, and it's only stuck to aluminum. On the steel, it's not stuck to it. But I'm gonna put that engine or that intake on here for show. So this actually looks like I could put it either way. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of wires on this. What in the world? The actual wiring harness. Well, I need that stuff. Not where it is though. Where did this come from? Oh, that was when I did climb into my truck. Is this a truck or is it a car? This thing has full car suspension. It looks like a truck, but it's not. It will never be able to pull a trailer. It has a Lincoln Mark 8 independent rear end. So this thing's actual towing capacity is like none. There's... Alright, I didn't clean it or nothing. So that's going right back in the way. So, which this thing is nowhere near running anyway. We're gonna put it on like this. Oh god, it's really heavy. It's backwards. Okay. In my truck. Alright, is that backwards? The thing would be right. It was in an SN95 Mustang with the plenum facing this way. Yeah, that fits like a glove. Yep, it's got the cutout for the alternator and everything. So this sticker, or whatever it is just on backwards. Why does it fit like that? Probably just the gasket, I don't know. But we just stuck it there. Man, that's gonna annoy me. I'm gonna have to flip that around. Guy must have just done that to ship it. But there it is. 5.4 liter, 32 valve. This was like the Coyote before the Coyote, kinda. But look how physically large that engine is. That's what I'm talking about. And so one thing that I want to do for this is get this plate remade. So a 260 was their model. Like in America we have, I don't even know something because it's usually not done like this, where this engine is 330 cubic inches. So in America that would have just said Boss 330. That's like if they called the Boss 302 a Boss 350. But it's 302 cubic inches. I guess the GT 350 and GT 500, they didn't have 350 cubic inch engines or 500, but it's just a model. 260 was just a model. Why they chose that, I don't know. It's weird. But I want to get this exact plate, but it just say Boss 330. And then obviously flip it so it's right there. So it's correct. But there it is. New intake on my was fabulous engine, and freaking cocaine got thrown on it or something. But
Wham!
All right, so that's that for this video. Just more parts acquiring and getting more things in line. Like I got to get that top cover, the transmission, I put it over there up front, and now the K-code engine's in front of the truck too. But I got to get that top cover. I'll probably just end up paying that ridiculous shipping. $40 shipping on a piece of sheet metal that's like that thin, smaller than a piece of paper. It's smaller than a piece of paper and it has $40 shipping. That's outrageous. If that guy from the website sees this, like, go to this, like, those flat rate boxes, you can get them at Dollar General even. They sell them and you can just slip things in them and they ship like a couple bucks, like $5 max. But $40 shipping is, I mean, yeah, I can't get over that. That should be something that weighs like 100 pounds or something or more. But yeah, I guess that's that for this video. We got the K-code engine block, which we're still going to get those other K-code parts. The one that I know is for a fact K-code engine. I went and looked at it. It's got the right main caps. It came out of a K-code fastback car, and it's an unfortunate story what happened to the car. They took it to a restoration shop. The guy closed the shop and sold everything and walked away, and the car was then sold. So long story short, the car is gone. This guy has all the stuff, except the transmission is a T10, which I know Shelby's had T10s, but this was a iron case, not aluminum, which Shelby's are aluminum. But anyway, I know that that's all real K-code stuff. But we got the 4-speed for the sausage pony, the K-code block, supposed K-code block, and the Australian Boss intake manifold. All right, so it's about a week later after I unloaded all this stuff, and I posted pictures of this block and the VIN number that was stamped on it. I made a post on a K-code group, Facebook group, and I gave them some information on the block and the pictures of it, and posted it on there asking people their opinions and everything, and everyone thought that it is legit. So at first I questioned that stamping. I go, guys, it looks all over the place, and they said that is people were saying it's legit and that fakes are very crystal clear to see and they're straight, and they were originally not like that. And one guy, he goes, that's bogus, nope, it's not real. And he asked for some more information on it, and he is a K-code guy that's been gathering information, and he said through his experience working on K-code engines, because there were regular 289 blocks that were hand-picked, so they were inspected for perfection. They were very little to no flaws in them. And he said through his discovery and through his experience with K-code engines that only K-code hypo engines have a P stamped on a flat surface above the clutch pivot, and that regular 289s didn't have it. So that's another indicator. So I was like, all right, I'll go out here and look, and I'll flip the camera around. Sure enough, this one has it. So this is what he was saying. This P right here, and this is a clutch pivot section. A little ball screws in there for your clutch to pivot on, but this has it. The gentleman then said, he goes, to me, he goes, that's legit. He said to him that's enough legitimacy, that is a very unknown, like he was saying in his it was just chatting. So, but from what I got from it is that it is an unknown thing. Everyone knows the VIN is stamped. Everyone could just stamp a VIN on a block and claim, but it's fake. And he was saying that is, to him, a legitimate, a legitimate stamping. So we have a real K-code block, and I got it for next to nothing. you know, but I did have to drive to Louisiana. But, so it's legit. That's where I was going with this. Is that the block is deemed a legitimate K-code block. So I have its VIN. And the more and more I look at it, I was really looking at that second 0 that I thought was fake. I was like, man, that just doesn't, it's a 9. It looks like a 9, which is legit. So there's 7, 8, and 9, like I said before. So a 9 would mean, I think 9 is fastback. It might be convertible. I know a 7 is a coupe. That's the most common. You see a coupe. So 9 might actually be convertible. It's either convertible or fastback, one or the other. So, but I have it. So there's anyone out there with a 66, because my K code out there is a 65. So I'd like to have a 65 K, which doesn't matter. I don't know. Oh well, enough of me talking. It's legit. So, yep. Well, thanks for watching. And by the time this video actually gets out, that 4-speed, I actually already put it in that car. There is it. Right there. So I actually already got it installed. So if you watch the video on that, you'll see me clean that 4-speed up and get a new cover for it. But thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy, or stay tuned. Bye.